Welcome to the OK Book Club, and this is episode 10. And this first episode, we're going to start counting down the top 50 novels of all time. Middle grade novels, age 8 to age 12. Generally speaking, we're talking about second grade through sixth grade. This is when, for the most part, children end up going from learning to read to reading to learn, where they actually really enjoy these books. This is based on my book clubs for the last 13 summers, the last 13 school years. And yes, it's my list. I'm going to miss a lot because I can't read every book, even though one former colleague of mine early on in my career said, "Kevin, you got to read every book." And he looked at me and he was so serious. And I looked at him like, no. What are you talking about? But he was serious, and I've kept that to heart, meaning I'm reading as often as I can. So what I'll have for you in this episode is number 50 through 41. There'll be 5 total episodes, counting down all the way to number 1. I hope you enjoy it. A few housekeeping items before we get started with number 50. What I'll lay out to you is there will be no spoilers here. It's just an introduction to tell you why I love this book, why I didn't rank it higher. I will give a rating. I will tell you up front, the ratings go from 1 to 5, and in this first category, all the books are rated 3.5. The last category, when we get down to the top 10 books, they are all rated 4.5 to 5, being the best, one of the best few books I've ever read. Also, I'll give out the genre, because not everyone loves genre, and I will tell you there's very few fantasy books on my list. I'm not a big fantasy fan. But we will have the genres basically be fantasy, action, adventure, mystery, realistic fiction, science fiction, historical fiction, and we've also got 1 or 2 in there that are strictly comedy books, and one in there, maybe not even really. Yes, I think one that's mostly horror, but every book is a mixture of all of these. And you'll find that, in my opinion, the best books are a mixture of, like I said, so many different genres. I'll give you some stories, my memories on the years we read these books. I'll let you know when the book was published, when we read them during our book clubs, when we read them during class. And again, no spoilers, but let me know if you agree or disagree. Let me know what books I need to read. I'm telling you up front, it can't be fiction. I don't want to get on a broom and fly away. I just can't. I'm just not a fan. What can I tell you? But I know a lot of young students love fantasy. But email me your choices, what you agree with, what you disagree with, at kevmok21@gmail.com. And I'll give you a shout out on one of my next few podcasts. Okay, let's get started. Number 50. And I know I'm going to get criticisms on this right away, but I almost just had to include it because, of course, is the best-selling middle grade novel of all time. One of the best-selling novels of all time. Forget about age. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The first story. We read this never during our book clubs, but in my first 3 years of my classes, 2012 through 2014. Hey, I just had to have it on the list. I've read, I think, the first 50 pages. I couldn't read any more. Why? Because I knew the endings, number one. This was in the generation where my son grew up. He read all the books. That was one of the first books that got him into reading. So many children obviously feel the same way. And I saw all the movies, brought all my kids to see them. And I just had a great memory of it. It was if you're going to be a teacher and you're going to get kids into reading, my memory was, listen to this. And, the whole point, I'm not going to give it away, of course, if you're one of the few that haven't read the book or any of the books or seen the movies. Harry Potter, you're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard. Right? So it's the adventures of Harry, who finds out that he is a wizard, and off he goes. J.K. Rowling, 7 books, and I tell you what, one of the best things I've ever said to students is, why read someone else's writing when you can write your own story and have people read your story? That's the story of J.K. Rowling's. She wrote all those books. From 1997 through 2007, 7 novels, and she just sat down as a single mother at the kitchen table, loved to write, and just started writing. And off she went. Number 50. Number 49, Mr. Popper's Penguins. This book was written by Richard and Florence Atwater. It's realistic fiction and mostly comedy. And we read this during our school year of 2013. As a reminder, one more time, if I only read it once during the summer or during the school year, it will be lower on the list. It was originally published in 1939. What's it about? This painter who basically one day comes home with a penguin, and then life as he knows it with his wife ends up changing for the worse or the better. It's just why do you want to read it? It's just a great introduction to make your children laugh as a reader aloud, follow along. Why wouldn't you want to read it? A lot of it, because it was written so long ago, a lot of big words from my memory, a lot of explanations that you may have to give because of the time and place and the setting, but it's just not up to date, so to speak. But it is laugh out loud funny, and that's really a lot of my memories when reading it to my class. Number 48, The Tale of Despereaux by Kate DiCamillo. It's a fantasy. What's it about? It's about a mouse named Despereaux that is looking to rescue a human princess. Written in 2003, it won the Newbery Medal in 2004, which is voted on as the best children's book of the year. The only book on this list I did not read to my students or during a book club. I read it in 2013. My memories of this book, I listened to it in the car back and forth, bringing my son to college that year. Why do you want to read it? It's a perfect story to read out loud. Kids love this. It was made into a movie. There's 52 chapters. The chapters are short. Classic kids book. Why do you don't want to read it? If fantasy is not your thing, that's why it's low on this list. And frankly, probably a little bit too long. Number 47, Flora and Ulysses by Kate DiCamillo. And it was written in 2013. It also won the Newbery Medal Award in 2014. I read it to my class in 2014. What is it about? It's about a 10-year-old girl, Flora, and her friend, Ulysses, who's a squirrel, and something happens in the beginning, and you just can't help but want to read going forward. Why do you want to read this? And some of my memories... My memories are the vocabulary in here is unbelievable. Malfeasance that I use a lot as a power word with my class, I picked up from this book, and laugh out loud funny so often. It's realistic fiction, comedy, like I said, and obviously some fantasy. You definitely want to read it as a laugh out loud good book. Why do you not want to read it? it deals with divorce, but it is a positive look at divorce. But if that's something that it's not necessarily appropriate for your child, that might be a reason to stay away from it. 46, Maniac Magee by Jerry Spinelli. Written in 1990. We read this in our book club in 2015. One of the few books on this list that, yes, is more appropriate for the older students, let's say 6th grade or so. But it just, listen, it's a memorable book. It's realistic fiction. What is it about? It's about an orphan boy who's trying to find a home. He's a great athlete. And it deals with discrimination and segregation in the 60s. And from that premise, it's very memorable. That's why you would want to read it. Why wouldn't you want to read it? Obviously, for not the younger ages, but it's not a page-turner. But it is a definite book for the older kids to really begin to understand where people are in society and what's good and what's not good. Be kind, treat others as you would like to be treated, regardless of the fact that they are different from you. Lots of great conversations. That's my memory in 2015 in our book club. But like I said, for the older kids. Number 45, another Newbery Medal Award winner, the best book in 1998. It was published the year before, in 1997. We read it in our book club in 2016. It's called Out of Dust. It's a book written in verse, which is kind of like poetry, and it takes time getting used to how you read it. What is it about? It's about a girl and her family in the Great Depression in the 1920s and the Dust Bowl, the hardships that this family went through. It's historical fiction. Why would you want to read it? It's so memorable. Why would you not want to read it? In some cases, it's really brutal. And frankly, again, it is for the older kids, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. But no question, if you are into history and what average families went through, this could be a book for you. But definitely stay away from it if you're younger. Number 44, The Bridge to Terabithia by Katherine Paterson. It also won the Newbery Medal, written in 1997. We read it during our book club in 2013. There's a great movie that goes along with it, but unfortunately, it seems like I've been saying this a little bit too often here in our countdown. Definitely for the older kids. Why do you want to read it? It's about 2 5th graders, a boy and a girl, and their friendship. Both of them going through some hardships in terms of their relationships with other kids at school. Definitely relatable for the older group. And why wouldn't you want to read it? Let's just say that there could be some melancholy moments in the book. But if you're okay with that, it's a book you'll never, ever forget, and the movie is really good. Number 43, The City of Ember by Jean DeProw. We read this during our book club of 2016. What is it about? 2 kids, I think they're about 12 years old, and they live in their city that is struggling with electricity going out and food shortages, and they just think something is up, something is wrong. Why would you read it? If it's the definition of a page turner. Why would you not want to read it? It's just a series. It's the first book in a series of books. And if that is something that you enjoy, great. In my opinion, I was disappointed that there wasn't necessarily a conclusion at the end of the book. But definitely it is fantasy. It is science fiction. Mystery, action, adventure, all wrapped into one. If you want a page turner, more on the older side, no doubt, this is a book. Number 42, The Bad Beginning, book 1 of a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, which was a pen name for Daniel Hadler that we learned years later. There's a movie that goes along with this, a Netflix series, and the bottom line is it was written in 1999. I read it to my class in 2013. It's just the first book. Why would you read it? Well, let's just say if you want happy endings, the first sentence in the book was boys and girls. If you want happy endings, you would better off to read a different book. So if that sounds like something that's going to grab you and talk about action and adventure, mystery, good versus evil, this would be a book for you. Why would you not read it? If you're not a fan of series, it's just the first book of many books. My huge memory is there's so many big vocabulary words in this book. You just want to teach children vocabulary. The author actually stops almost every page or two and says a word, writes a word, and then says, boys and girls, this word means so-and-so. That's my big memory of the book, and right away, the book grabs you in the beginning. And the final book on our countdown of the first episode of the top 50 books of all time, number 41, The Sign of the Beaver by Elizabeth George Spear. We read this during our book club of 2021. What I remember about this is it was during COVID, so it was a virtual book club. And it was written in 1983. Historical fiction. What is it about? It's about a boy who is left by his father in the frontier after his father goes home to see his family, and he promises that he will be returning, but the father doesn't return. And it's definitely a page turner, lots of action and adventure. That's why you would read it. Why wouldn't you read it? You get to a sense of what the boy is about, but not that much character development. But I just remember short book and definitely towards the older side in terms of my recommendation. But that's it for this first episode of the Top 50 Books. Like I said, give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. Give me your choices for the best books out there. KEVMOK21@gmail.com. The OK Book Club. See you next time. Happy reading.